Welcome to a moment of great enlightenment from the book of Ecclesiastes. It says in verse 13 of Ecclesiastes chapter 1, what a heavy burden God has laid on men. What is this heavy burden that Solomon is talking about? Didn't Jesus say that his burden is light? So if God is laying a burden upon us, it should be light and not heavy. So what could Solomon be talking about? I'll give it to you in one word: responsibility. At the time Solomon is writing Ecclesiastes, he's king, and Israel was chief of all the nations, and so, like his father David before him, and Adam before David, Solomon had the ultimate responsibility to oversee the entire world. And that responsibility was placed upon him by God. People think about enjoying the limelight, but it's the burden that comes with the position that questions our resolve. You might enjoy the light, but can you handle the heat? This heavy burden of responsibility is actually placed upon all mankind. Are you feeling as though the weight of the world is upon your shoulders? Then you're feeling responsible. Maturity is really the acceptance of responsibility. A mother caring for her child, a father providing for his home, a student preparing for exams. Being responsible, whether you're leading a company or you're the company's janitor, it matters little the domain wherein we function. What matters is the responsibility that we all share. The more seriously we take our place in the world, then the heavier the burden. And your understanding of the meaning of life is commensurate to the level of responsibility that you embrace. Many people want to feel valuable. Many desire a sense of well-being. But they shirk the responsibility and prefer the distraction of television or playing video games. Do that for long enough and you'll have a real problem. You begin by dropping out of school, and then you stop cleaning up your room, and then you can't be bothered having a shower. You'll go out with the wrong kind of people. You'll date the wrong kind of person. What's happening is that your mental health is in sharp decline. You have no intention of going to work. You won't take up your responsibility around the home. You become somebody else's burden. Become your parents' burden or your wife's burden. And now you're on the dole and you've become the state's burden. You start drinking to escape your own self-inflicted nausea. Your wife gets sick of you and leaves, and you're just one step away from being homeless, and you feel like the world has no meaning. You might as well jump off a bridge. All because way back there, when you had the responsibility and the opportunity to take up your responsibility, small though it was in the beginning, because way back there you refused to take up your responsibility. Refusing responsibility has diabolical consequences. In reality, you're refusing to grow up. Another repercussion of neglecting responsibility is that you have an unhealthy sense of entitlement. You think you deserve respect. You feel others should be more thoughtful. You start blaming everyone else for what's wrong in your life. You refuse to work but expect social welfare to raise your benefits. You pout when people question you. You get all moody when things don't go your way. You're resentful of anybody else who's successful. You sit at the back of the church pointing out all the things that are wrong with the church, but you're unwilling to get in there and do something yourself. Entitlement becomes even more egregious whenever your umbilical cord is connected to someone with power or celebrity, because people will pander to your privilege for the sake of feathering their own nest. And the flattery you receive so distorts your perception of reality that unless you're born again, you are completely lost with no hope of recovery. The only way out of meaninglessness is to accept responsibility. And this begins with the responsibility of your sin, the responsibility for your sin. Be responsible for where you fall short, and be humble enough to ask Jesus to forgive you and give your life meaning. Be humble enough to ask forgiveness from those who you've wronged. Otherwise, you are robbing yourself of meaning. Secondly, recognize responsibility as a double-edged sword. Take too much on, and your shoulders will be crushed under the weight of your burden. Take too little, and life will lose meaning. Thirdly, as you begin to be responsible, Jesus made mankind an offer. Come to me, all you are wearied. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart, and you'll find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Learn to be yoked together with Jesus. That's how you find grace for all that God has called you to bear here upon the earth. That's how you do it. Isaiah said the government is upon his shoulders. The Greeks taught that the universe was on the shoulders of Atlas. It was his curse for leading the Titans against Zeus. What a contrast Jesus is, for Isaiah says, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. Most people feel like Atlas, cursed under the weight of their responsibility. But for anyone connected to Jesus, the government of the world, your world, becomes child's play. Think about it. The price of freedom is responsibility, and there is no genuine freedom without genuine responsibility. And we'll see you again tomorrow for more wisdom from the book of Ecclesiastes. Are you finding meaning for your life yet? Oh, I hope so. I pray for the meaning in your life to increase, for your sense of your place in the world to become rock solid. You do that by connecting yourself, first of all, with Jesus, the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. And then by taking up your responsibility for what God has called you to be and to do in your home, in your church, in your community, in whatever sphere God has placed you in, to hold up your part of the world. Yes, by the grace of God, yoked together with Jesus. That's how you do it. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow.